Good morning. I'm Hassan Giordano, and this is your DMV Daily Dose for Monday, March the 2nd, 2020.
It's currently clear and 34 degrees in Baltimore. Expect cloudy skies starting in the afternoon, and rain tonight with mixed conditions for the rest of the day. Today's high will be 60 degrees, and the low will be 33.
Well, a day that began with massive buzz around the Maryland men's basketball program fizzled out by night 10. College Park hosted ESPN's College Game Day for the first time since 2005. The 2004 ACC championship team was honored, but the ninth-ranked Terps couldn't pull off another double-digit comeback, falling to number 24 Michigan State 78-66 on Saturday night. But Taylor Mikesell scored 22 points on 6 for 8 shooting from three-point range to lead the 7th-ranked Maryland women's basketball team as they ramped past the host of Minnesota 99-44 on Sunday afternoon as the Terps forged a tie for the Big Ten title and finished the regular season on a 14-game winning streak. The Terps share first place with Northwestern and recorded their 5th regular season conference championship in just 6 years in the league. Former Vice President Joe Biden crushed the competition in the South Carolina Democratic primaries on Saturday, and after an improbable rise from openly gay millennial mayor of a mid-sized Midwestern city with a hard-to-pronounce name to winner of the Iowa caucuses, Pete Buttigieg ended his astounding run for president last night. The 38-year-old former South Bend mayor also made his announcement less than 2 days before the polls will open on Super Tuesday, when nearly one-third of the party's delegates will be awarded in 15 states and territories across the country. Now, his decision to call it quits also came amid mounting anxiety amongst the Democratic establishment about the possibility of Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders, a self-described Democratic socialist, running away with a delegate advantage towards the nomination as more moderate candidates continue to splinter a larger share of the vote. After former Vice President Biden claimed the resounding victory in South Carolina, pressure has grown for other moderates such as Buttigieg, former New York Mayor Mike Bloomberg, and Minnesota Senator Amy Klobuchar to unite and coalesce around Biden in an effort to keep Sanders from winning the nomination. Now, the Baltimore Sun is reporting that President Donald Trump has named former Maryland First Lady Kendall Ehrlich to lead the United States Department of Justice's efforts to monitor, apprehend, and track sex offenders. In an announcement on Friday by the White House, the president said he intends to appoint Ehrlich, the wife of former Maryland Republican Governor Robert Bobby Ehrlich, as director of the Office of Sex Offenders, Sentencing, Monitoring, Apprehending, Registering, and Tracking Sex Offenders. Now, the Baltimore Brew is reporting that for one billing address at the Johns Hopkins Medical Campus, it indicated $4.2 million worth of free city water. For a chemical plant in South Baltimore, it was $2 million of underbilling. And for a prison intake facility, it was 561 days without a reading. For an Inner Harbor apartment building, it was no bills or payments at all since the property opened in 2016. These are some of the biggest Baltimore water consumers red flagged recently in an internal review of problem accounts, uncollected revenue, and other mistakes by the city. The information, analyzed by the Baltimore Brew, along with publicly available billable data, raises new concerns about one of the enduring mysteries of Baltimore government. Why, after the expenditure of $100 million on smart meters and an automated UMAX billing system, can't the Department of Public Works collect the money that's due on water and sewer bills? Well, the problem no longer lies with the residential accounts of Baltimore City or our surrounding counties. Recent meter upgrades did, in fact, greatly increase the accuracy of billing to home customers. Where revenues consistently occur, or with botched readings and uncollected revenues consistently occur, are with commercial and institutional customers who have large, more complicated meter lines and maintain multiple accounts with DPW. Quote, the city uses the same metering system as BG&E, But you don't see billing errors over there, said a local utility expert. At BG&E, the people who run the system are trained and experienced engineers. In city government, on the other hand, we're running things with poorly paid clerks and consultants flown in from out of town. And according to this Brew article, the Atlanta-based consultant that was being referenced is Iteris NA, who provides support services for the UMAC system and have thus far cost the city $22 million, which pays not only for their billable hours, but for their room and board, their meals, and transportation. A new $5 million round of consultant money is pending before the Board of Estimates. Now, when news broke last October that the Ritz-Carlton residents hadn't been charged for water consumption in 12 years, Mayor Bernard C. Jack Young expressed outrage. Young vowed to establish an in-house team to audit commercial accounts and assure city residents that all water bills were being accurately recorded and promptly paid. He also promised to make the audit public. Well, the results of the audit are now mostly in. But the Young administration doesn't want to release the audit, at least according to two sources of the Baltimore Brewers, until after the April 28th primary election, due to fears that the findings could jeopardize Young's election chances. Well, lawmakers considered a myriad of campaign finance bills on Thursday afternoon in Annapolis. It says a new Maryland Matters article, including an attempt to repeal a decade-old Prince George's County ban on developer contributions, a law to expand the state's public finance program, and a measure to add enforcement positions to the State Board of Elections. The Prince George's County law limiting developer and real estate donations made to county executives came about following a major corruption scandal involving then county exec Jack Johnson. Now, Johnson had taken more than $1 million in bribes in exchange for helping developers secure funding for housing developments and was sentenced to 7 years in prison. In response, Johnson's successor, Rashern Baker, endorsed barring contributions from developers with pending projects as a good government measure. But the sponsor of the bill to remove that limitation is House Economic Matters Committee Chairman Derek Davis, a Democrat also from Prince George's County, who said that the county's way of doing business and the image have changed. Politicians in Prince George's County say that the law is unfair because it places limits on a candidate's ability to raise money, but only in Prince George's County, a majority African-American jurisdiction. Prince George's County exec Angela Alsobrook said that she supports overturning the county law, citing racial injustice, a shift from her neutral stance just last year when Davis attempted to rescind the law for the first time. Now, the 2019 bill passed in the House but was bottled up in the Senate Education, Health, and Environmental Affairs Committee, where another powerful chairman from Prince George's County, Senator Paul Penske, opposed the bill. Penske says that he still plans to oppose the bill again this year. Davis is reintroducing the legislation, which is known as House Bill 282, along with a new bill for good measure, which is House Bill 1565. That would create limits on developer contributions in every county. Quote, do we make Prince George's County like everybody else, or do we make everybody else like Prince George's County? I have no preference, Davis told his committee. Whatever the wisdom of the committee is, I'm happy to go along with it. Davis said he just wants to make sure that Prince George's County is on equal footing with the rest of the state. Now, on Thursday, legislators are also considered another campaign finance bill, House Bill 1125, which would expand Maryland's public financing program to candidates other than governor in statewide elections. Now, Maryland already has a fair campaign financing fund, but the bill would expand the program from just the gubernatorial tickets to attorney general and comptroller races as well. It also revises the matching provisions to a tiered matching structure in which smaller donations are matched with a greater multiplier and would prohibit corporate and political action committee contributions and add funding to the program. It will cost about $7 million a year to fund the proposed revisions to this program. Maryland Matters is also reporting that public schools in the city of Baltimore and Prince George's County could see a dramatic increase in state funding under newly proposed amendments to a multi-billion-dollar education reform bill being debated in the General Assembly. Now, the two jurisdictions were the hardest hit by changes to Maryland's education funding formula proposed by the Kerwin Commission on Innovation and Excellence in Education. According to fiscal analysts released earlier this month, Baltimore faced a $340 million annual increase in local education spending by 2030, while Prince George's County faced an annual increase of $386 million by the end of the decade. Proposed changes to the funding formula before the education subcommittees of both the House Appropriations and the Ways and Means Committees would cut those local obligations in half. Delegate Ben Barnes, a Democrat from Prince George's County and chair of the Education and Economic Development Subcommittee of Appropriations, said proposed changes to the funding formula include a new maximum local effort index that would attempt to balance a county's wealth and its required local share of education funding formulas to bring all jurisdictions in the state closer to an average effort. As a result, the state would increase annual funding for the city and Prince George's County by $146.9 million and $202.9 million, respectively, by 2030. Well, I'm your man, Mr. Politics, and this has been your DMV Daily Dose for Monday, March the 2nd, 2020. For more information on the articles I've mentioned, just go on over to their website at www.dmvdaily.news.